In case you guys didn't know, my name is Yuvelk, and I was almost the winner of Survivor.
What was your biggest regret from playing?
I guess my biggest regret was not keeping track of the strength of some alliances. Some people who I was planning on taking, not necessarily to the very end, but pretty close, like Aiden and Michael, were kind of converted to Manyaism or other alliances, and I wish I could have at least tried to garner their trust a bit more, so that things wouldn't have ended the way that they did.
What do you think you did best during the game?
I think strategizing was one of my best strong suits. I know that voting people out heavily depends on how easily you can convince people to vote with you, or how much you can convince them to trust you. I know that I have had many doubts about whether I should vote somebody or not because of what others might vote. So I think I did a pretty good job convincing people that I would vote who I would vote for, which I did.
Who was your best ally?
Well, it was. It was supposed to be Emma, but she didn't choose me for the final two. And I understand why, because I would have done the same thing. So I guess in that sense, we're even stronger.
Is there anything you wish had gone differently?
I wonder. I think ideally I would have wanted to be in the final two, but I was pretty happy with how the game turned out overall.
Is there anyone you wish you had worked with more?
Work with more? Max and Elliot are two people who I wish I would have had more communication with throughout the game, especially since Max would have been a great ally considering his skills in persuading people, especially when he managed to avoid death on more than one occasion. And as for Elliot, I think he's a really nice guy, and I wish I would have gotten to know him better before I voted him out.
What was your favorite challenge?
I think my favorite challenge was Shot in the Dark, just because me and Emma absolutely swept every single person. I don't know how, but I managed to go throughout the entire round without getting a single sick riff headed my way. And I was basically at full health when I went up against Aiden, and Emma did such a good job as a tank. And then we basically protected each other, but she took most of the damage until we were finally able to win.
How do you want to be remembered in the history of Survivor?
Well, I know that I wanted to make an impact coming into Survivor, or an impression at the very least. I wasn't sure what it was going to be through, but I'm glad that a lot of people thought it was through my social game because of the pin that I got during the awards.
Where do you think you ended up in the draft of the spectators?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I must have been in like the pretty low numbers. I know that not a lot of people knew me, of course, coming into the game, so I would not be surprised if I was like all the way at the bottom. But I just hope that I surprised a lot of people with how far I made it.
What will you take away from this season of Survivor?
I think in the event that I do return years later, I'll remember everybody who betrayed me and make sure that does not happen again next game.
What would you say to people who are considering playing Survivor?
It is a very strategic game. Even if your gameplay is to not be as strategic, you still have to choose someone to fall behind or to ally yourself with. So I would say think about it more than you probably are already.